Hello everybody. Today we are going to be making a very simple loaf of bread that I've made several times now, and it's so easy you can do it anytime. I rambled. I went too far. I should just stop.
Just be natural.
Hello everybody. Today we're going to be making bread. We'll do the music. You might be able to tell we don't usually do cooking tutorials on our channel, but today is a very rare exception and you might see more of it if this video does well. So if you do care, if you do like this video, please feel free to show it some love. Now we'll just get right into the recipe. This is gonna be a round loaf. We're gonna get right into it. First ingredient, 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Second ingredient. There's only 4 ingredients in this, by the way. It's 1 teaspoon of salt. That was a lot of salt for 1 teaspoon. I don't know how that was that much. And then 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. And then we're gonna give that a mix. And then we're gonna add 1.5 cups of warm water. If it's too hot, you will kill the yeast. And don't be worried about this. This is not a special tool you have to have. You could do this with your hand. And maybe it would have been wise for me to do it with my hand. Let's mix this up. A very wise man once said, "It's not baking unless it's a little messy." As far as I know, that wise man was me, and just now. But we are on our way to making bread, so it should be fine. So now we have a bit of a shaggy dough, as us in the industry would call it. I'm gonna get out of this bowl, set it down here. Then if you can't really tell right now, it will be very sticky when you first start because you have to sort of squish it. I've never done any professional kneading and I've never really seen how to do it. I just you pick it up and fold it and squish it around. But at this point, you don't even need to really do that. Usually I would wash out the same bowl and just set it in there. But what I'm just gonna do, I have another bowl right here. Just set it in there. That's all you have to do. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cover it with a wet towel and let it set for 2 to 5 hours. So this will take some time to get done, but the work you have to do is pretty much nothing. So, if all went well, I made this earlier, about 2 to 5 hours ago. You want to bring the spoon over here to come look at it. This is what it looks like after it's proofed. And I'll be back. I will need to get some flour. So, all-purpose flour. Then it's technically no-knead bread, but you do. It's funny, when I was figuring out how to do this, the comments on a video that I watched about the no-knead bread was, you started kneading the bread at about, and then the timestamp of the video. And it was accurate. They knead it for a little bit, even though it's supposed to be no knead at all. But there we go. We're just going to get a nice little round. I don't know what that was. A nice little round of bread. And that's all. That's it. So let's just recap. We mix the 4 ingredients together. You set it in a bowl for like 3 hours. and then you just kneaded it up with a little bit of flour on your board, and then you just let it set. And then I always cut either across or 3 slits in the bread to help it release steam. And also I find it aesthetically pleasing. All right, so I'm just gonna take a very sharp razor. I usually use a sharp knife, but I couldn't find one. I'm just gonna cut 3 strips right in the top of it. And then you're gonna take this, you're going to put it in a Dutch, take it back for a second. You're gonna let this sit out for however long it takes your oven to preheat to 450 degrees. I'm going to cook this in a Dutch oven. If you don't know what a Dutch oven is, some of them are oven safe, some of them aren't. You'll have to see. Usually if the handle on the top is metal, it will be oven safe. It's just it's a type of pot essentially. That's what we're gonna do. And if you don't have one of those, we're gonna use the dough we just made after it proofs. We're gonna make it in a loaf pan and see how it turns out. So we just have to wait for it to preheat. There we go. Okay, we are done baking the bread, but I don't think I told you how long to do it for. So I'll do that now. You have to bake it for 30 minutes with the lid on the Dutch oven, and then for about 10 to 15 with it off, or until it's as brown as you want it to be on top. And this is what we got. But now that we have done this loaf, we will do the bread pan loaf and see how it does. Okay, we did the loaf pan one, and I looked at it. It was not going so hot. It was very pale and unappealing, much like Roger. So I went ahead and did an egg wash on top. And the looks, it's very hot, but it turned out looking pretty good. I don't know how it will taste. It looks like it's covered in caramel, but we're gonna cut into these. This one is still barely warm. This one's very hot, so we will cut into them. It's not that tough, I'm just doing it very slowly to get the sound. The bottom will be quite tough, because, there we go. That's what it looks like. Let's get some crisp. Where's my mic? That one's crispy. This one's very hot, but oh, this one's crispy too. Let's go ahead and move this one back. And then, oh, it's hot. Oh, this one crispy. This bread rest before you put it? I did for a couple minutes, but wow, look at that. Okay, now me and Roger can do a taste. We probably know what it doesn't taste like, but we should go ahead and taste both. See, we tried to do it in the loaf to see if we can make sandwich bread. And if you can see the steam coming off of that, to see if we can make a sandwich loaf. But I mean, I've made sandwich-like things with this before, and I like it like that. But ooh. So I don't know if I showed the bottom. The bottom where it's cooking in a Dutch oven does get it's not necessarily hard, but it's tougher than like a normal loaf of bread would be. Do we want to do one without butter than one with? Okay. Are you gonna come around for the taste test, or are you gonna hide back there? Camera. Here you go. That's gonna be hot.
Oh, true.
It's not bad though.
It's better.
It goes for most bread. Now try the normal loaf. That's what I like. It's better.
But it's cool.
The steam makes this crispiness naturally, whereas this one has the egg wash.
I'm his uncle.
That was my uncle. Well, there you have it. Even though making bread can be dangerous, I burnt this thumb and I cut this one while making this bread. But goodbye. And if you try this, comment down below if you try this recipe and how it turns out for you.